Hello, my hungry friends. Today we're going to be making a pan-seared, fresh, and I'm talking about fresh, a pan-seared Chilean sea bass. It's going to be accompanied not only with asparagus, but an amazing beurre blanc sauce. Let's make it. All right, my hungry friends. So before we start on the pan-sear of our Chilean sea bass, we're gonna go ahead and introduce exactly what's gonna be going into the dish, okay? So we're gonna be using a little bit of salt in our beurre blanc sauce. We're gonna be utilizing some cayenne pepper. We're gonna be using shallots today, okay? You can use whatever onion you want, but I am using shallots today, and it gives an amazing aroma, flavor, and taste to it. We're also gonna be using organic white wine vinegar. And we're gonna go with a dry white wine. Now keep in mind, whatever wine you use, make sure it's the one that you like to drink. If it's some, cheap wine, some knockoff wine that you don't like, don't use it. If you want to, go ahead, but in my kitchen, we're not doing that. Any wine that I drink is what's gonna be going into my meals, okay? We're gonna be using a lot of butter, and we're gonna be incorporating that. We're gonna be discussing what's called emulsifying. It's called emulsifying, is that how you say it? Yeah. So we're also gonna be giving the plate some pop with some asparagus, and more importantly, the star of this dish is the Chilean sea bass. It's very, very expensive. It's gonna cook fast, it's gonna be buttery, and it's gonna be flaky. Let's make it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're gonna start with our asparagus, okay? So obviously we have our green asparagus. I like to try to go thick as possible. Fortunately, they're thick enough. You see those little string bean looking ones, but I wanna go with a thicker cut, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the top edge here. I'm gonna take my scraper or peeler, whatever you wanna call it, and I'm gonna go downward with it. And I'm going to scrape off the outer edge of this asparagus, okay? And the reason why I do that, because it cooks a little quicker, better, and evenly. Because as you see, the very top part of this, it gets thinner as I go, and when you shave this down a little bit, it becomes about the thickness close to the top portion, okay? So let's go ahead and do a few more of these so you can see. All right, so we're finishing peeling off the last one, and now we're gonna go ahead and turn on our stove or burner. Okay. So now we're gonna start on our beurre blanc sauce, okay? And beurre blanc is a French term meaning beurre as in butter, and blanc means white. So it's a white sauce. We're gonna be using wine, a white wine butter sauce, okay? So we're gonna start on that. We're gonna let this heat up for a second. But do note that when we're cooking this, it's gonna go very quick. So you can actually make literally a 5-star meal in just like under 15 minutes, okay? So it's gonna be really quick. And while we're making our beurre blanc sauce, we're gonna be incorporating this butter, thus emulsifying it and getting it into a creamy sauce, okay? Emulsifying means to become into one, okay, if you will. Okay, so what I like to do is I'm gonna add in a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna start to saute our onions, okay, our shallots. All right. Getting this nice and hot. And this is only gonna go for a second. You don't wanna scorch it, you don't wanna burn it, okay? It's gonna become translucent, and it's only gonna take a very quick second, because we're gonna then incorporate and add in our dry white wine and our white vinegar, okay? And as I'm going through the process, I'm gonna be explaining what I'm gonna be doing as well, okay? So it's getting hot, it's just about there, okay? Okay. And we're running about medium heat on this, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our white wine. And we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this to about 1/3 of this, okay? And the reason why we're doing this now is because it does take about 10 minutes or so to get the beurre blanc to where we want it into our consistency, and I'll show you that here in a second. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take our asparagus and we're going to pan sear that, and we'll even throw in a little bit of shallots, okay? Okay, get this up to hot, or heat, up to temp, and it's going to be delicious, right? And so we're going to do our Chilean sea bass last because that's going to be the quickest. It's going to be about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, and we are done, folks. Okay, so let this get up to temp. Okay, so now we're going to go into our asparagus. Put in some olive oil. About 2 teaspoons of that. Throw in our asparagus. We're going to add some shallots. We're also going to add in a pinch of salt and some fresh pepper. Now you can also add in some garlic as well to give it an additional pop. This is going to go really quick. Should be done in probably about 45 seconds or so. But while we're doing that, look at the consistency of the starting of the beurre blanc sauce. If you notice, when you take your spoon and you do this, we're just about there, and we're really close. It's still a little too much liquidy that I like. Okay, so right about there. But we're going to focus on the asparagus real quick. Okay, and so these are done. This only took a couple seconds. We're going to move this off. And now we're going to go and start on our fish. Okay. Now, don't worry too much. This will wilt her a little bit. That's okay. It's still in a hot pan. What we're going to do now is we're going to start our fish. And we're going to go about a medium-high heat. But if you now take a look at the initiation of the beurre blanc, look at that. So it's really close. We're about 45 seconds away. But you could smell the aroma of the shallots, and this is exactly what we want, okay? So we're reducing it. In other words, dehydrating the alcohol content down, bringing off the alcohol, and just giving it that flavor, okay? So we're right about there. Sometimes you can just continue to shake it. Okay, but if you look at this, we're just right there. Look at that. And that's where I want it. You can also even turn off the oven right now. You just want it right around 120 to 120 degrees or so. And now we're going to incorporate about 2 to 3 pads of butter at a time. You don't want to do any more than that because it'll really cool it down. And you want to make the cuts of the pad of butter enough to where it can actually fit in the slots of this, okay? So, but now you can see the emulsification take place. It's burning. And if it starts to get cooled down, just get it to really, really low. And just keep stirring it in. And we're going to do probably about 1 to 2 sticks of butter on this. Alright, so I'm adding in some olive oil. And you can use whatever fat content you want. I'm happy to use olive oil. You want something with a high smoke point, so that way it doesn't burn off whatever fat you're using. Okay, so it's going to take about a second. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start on our fish. And we are going to be generous with our salt. Okay, I'm going to put some pepper in it. Okay. You can also add in like a seared type of flour on it as well. We're not doing that. We're actually just using salt and pepper today. Okay. Generous here. Okay. And pepper. That's where we're going to move quick because we want to continue to emulsify this sauce. Look at that. Looks amazing, right, folks? All right. So that's still becoming really thick. This is exactly where we want it. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and add in our fish. And this is going to be really, really quick. All right. Now we're going to want to let the pan do the work. Okay. That's going to go about 3 minutes. We want a nice little light brown crust on the outside. All right. And again, let the pan do the work. I know you're hungry, folks, but what I want you to do is just leave it there and continue on with the beurre blanc sauce. All right, as we're finishing up the emulsification process, the beurre blanc sauce, our fish is getting ready to be turned over. We're about 2 minutes in, but if you could take a look. Yeah, we're about 20 more seconds left away. Now we want our internal temperature right around 125 degrees on that. So again, let the pan continue to work. We're almost there. And we're actually almost done with the beurre blanc sauce. Okay. And if you look at the beurre blanc sauce now, look at the thickness, the richness. And you could serve it as is, just like this. I like to give it additional flavor. We're going to add in some salt. Okay, a couple pinches of cayenne, just to give it a kick. Again, some of y'all that know me know that I love kick. I love heat. It's not a lot, but look at that creamy butter sauce. Now, if you want even more flavor from the shallots, what you can do is just use half of the onions that I used today and blend it. I'm not doing that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna actually put it through the sieve. But we're getting ready to turn this now, and look at that. And here in about a couple minutes or so, about a minute and a half, we're going to baste it. And you'll know when it's done when you touch the sides and it's warm, it's not cold, okay? And now, look at this. And look at that deliciousness, folks, right here. Now, what I'm going to do is we're now going to sift. And we're going to draw out all those flavors from the beurre blanc sauce. Okay. And go ahead and take a look in here. And while you're sieving it, you just push down and then just draw out all the butter. Now look at our beurre blanc sauce. Okay. And look at the creamy texture. And this is what's going to go right on our fish. Okay. Because we're now going to take some of the juices of this. You can even add a little bit more oil. What I like to do is to give it some flavor. Put some butter in it, and now we're going to start the basting process. And how you baste it, okay, is you're going to take the pan and you're going to tilt it towards you like this. And you're going to baste. And the reason why we do this is we want to make sure that we're not drying out our fish. So this is just about done, and we're getting ready to plate. All right. So let's touch the sides. Just right there. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and plate this dish. Okay. And you can design it however you want to. Again, a lot of people like to eat with their eyes. I definitely like to eat with my eyes. And you just lay the asparagus flat Okay, this fish is now done. Well, yep, it's done. I'm going to turn it off. And then now we're going to get our beurre blanc sauce. Look at this. My hungry friends, look at that. Okay, we'll clean it up. All right, so now we had just did all this work. Honestly, this took literally 17 minutes or less or so. And I know you at home could do this because I just did it and I showed you exactly how it's done. But now we're gonna go right into backyard privilege, okay? And I wanna take a bite into it. I wanna check out all the layers of ingredients that we had put into this. Okay, so let's go ahead. And when I do this, I wanna make sure I get some of that beurre blanc sauce. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Look how flaky, it's just breaking, it's just delicious. Oh, I nailed this out of the park, bam! So, currently what I'm tasting is the freshness from the Chilean sea bass. Obviously I seasoned it. It pairs really well with that beurre blanc sauce. I gotta dig in for another one, man. Let me tell you. Oh, dude, I can't wait for my camera guys to taste this real quick. But the creaminess of the beurre blanc, I taste the flavors of that shallot. That wine flavor, the consistency, and obviously you have your green beans. You gotta throw some greens on that plate, right? And it's not fishy by no means. So, listen folks, my hungry friends. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe to my channel. Sorry, I'm talking with a mouthful. It's just that good, okay? Make this, and particularly if you really like this dish, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell. But until next time, my friends, stay hungry, and I'll see you soon.